Hello there, this is Funke. For those of you who don't know me, I have another channel. It's a it's a channel where I post one video a day because it's a project that I wanted to do. However, this channel's main purpose is to set up a place for me to, talk about more political things, because I don't want my other channel to focus on that. So, needless to say, let's get this started. Hi, Veritas48. Again, as I said, my name is Funke. I figured I would respond to your video first, just because I don't know if you've gotten any responses from those of a younger generation like me, or say seniors in high school. I'm not sure if it's a popular thing, because I'm not sure if a lot of people in my age group actually really take into consideration religion and stuff like that. So this will hopefully be something interesting. Needless to say, in this video, although I'm responding to your second 5 questions for atheist video, I'm actually compounding them all into one, hopefully fairly quick video. If not, I'll be doing a 2-part thing. So I guess I'll name this 10 questions for atheists, is composed by Veritas48. So hopefully we can keep up an interesting dialogue, assuming you wish to pursue that. I know you're just curious about people's beliefs, but nonetheless, I think it's always great to sort of correspond with people. Okay, so question 1. Why is there something rather than nothing? That one okay, personally I feel that there's something rather than nothing because there were conditions set up, or conditions that began. As for how these conditions began, no one can really explain that. There isn't a hardcore scientific definition. I mean, there's the idea that the universe is a continuous thing, so it shrinks and expands, so the singularity exploded, and we have that Big Bang theory, which, again, isn't an appropriate name. It's a bit of a misnomer, but that's besides the point. But essentially, conditions were set up that were conducive to life, and that is why we have something rather than nothing. I'm not sure how else to go about answering that, but in the most literal sense, that's what happened. There was a Big Bang. Over time, conditions became conducive to supporting life, especially here on Earth. Well, actually, Earth is the only planet we're positive is conducive to sustaining life, but who's to say that there aren't other planets out there, because there's billions upon trillions upon quintillions of stars, and we're just one little planet, and who's to say each star doesn't have their own solar system, or the same setup we have here, and who's to say that there isn't a planet in that arrangement in other stars or in other galaxies? Yeah, in other galaxies that are conducive to life. So, yeah. What evidence, your second question was, what evidence, if any, do you find most persuasive regarding theism? Personally, I haven't found anything to be persuasive. In your video, you talked about the argument of evil, and you had a really hard time answering with that. Personally, I feel that morality is something that is sort of inherent in any sort of species civilization. So, the fact that there's evil is only because we place the idea that it's evil. Like, it was something that we discussed in my philosophy class. What is good? Well, something I brought up was that we would consider a lion killing a gazelle evil by our standards, but that doesn't make it evil because it's just a natural circle of life. So, again, I haven't found any evidence to be convincing in regards to theism. I'm still in search for that, because I'm rather curious to see what people can come up with. So, yeah. Question number 3. How do you reconcile your atheism with any ultimate meaning in life? Personally, I feel that the concept of a meaning to life is something that we as humans have sort of created for ourselves to make ourselves seem much more important than we really are. Quite frankly, we're just another species on this planet that happen to have the ability to have a consciousness and have the ability to conceive the idea that we do die one day. So the fact that we feel that there's a meaning to life is simply something we say because we don't want to make ourselves seem like we're some type of animal, when in reality we are. We're just another species on this planet. So personally, I don't feel there's an ultimate meaning. However, I do ascribe a meaning to my life. That isn't to say like I find life pointless, because it's the one life we have to live, and if you can't derive your own meaning for that, then something's wrong. Like, there isn't some ultimate universal meaning to life. The meaning of life is to live. And so, take that as you may, but that's sort of the way I have thought about it, I guess. Question number 4 was, were you raised in a religious environment? No, actually I wasn't. But then again, my childhood was a little rough and gruff to begin with. To put it in perspective, my mother passed away when I was 9. My father was never really around. He was drunk and abusive. So we never really had any any sort of moral, or not moral, but religious upbringing. I never had any type of religious experiences. I mean, I think I was baptized. I don't really know. I haven't asked or anything. But, yeah, so religion is never a big part of my life, and then later on it attempted to become, attempted to pry its way into my life. However, by that age, I had sort of thought about things already, and yeah, it just wasn't for me. 5. What is the end-all goal of atheism activism on YouTube? That can be answered by different people in different ways. Personally, I feel that the atheist activist movement is a way to end the persecution of atheists, because in society, atheists are often viewed as immoralistic human beings who go around doing as they please, when in reality, we will do as we please, but any person will do that. But we do have morals, and we aren't just these heathenistic, demoralized people. Like, we do have our own sets of morals, and it's not something that's completely separated from the morals of a religious person in terms of any religion. Like, we are human beings, it's just we view things differently. We view things in a more realistic, concrete, evident sort of way. Although that would sound rather presumptuous of me to assume that the religious doctrine isn't real, or isn't concrete. I've just found that it doesn't seem to be concrete. So, personally, I feel the activist movement was to sort of debunk this idea that atheists were immoral, and then also to gain further acceptance for atheists, because quite frankly we're often shunned just because we hold different beliefs. But again, that can be said for any human being who is different. And lastly, to sort of further separate church from state, because despite church not being a part of the state, it still holds a huge bearing in people's decisions. And as I've said in previous videos on my other channel, morality and legality need to be two completely separate things. And so the fact that church morals are often in people's mind when they go in to determine whether something is legal or not is kind of silly, to me personally. I'm not sure how you would feel about it, but I believe that whether or not we determine something's legality or morality should never be imposed, or we should never impose our morality onto others based on what we find to be moral or immoral. But again, that's just my own separate thing. Now, these are the new questions